Today we're here with what people would recognize you as Victor the Good Boss from the social media platforms, but Victor Oliveira, a guy who's just committed to helping people. What was it like? Were you always like that? Somebody just doesn't wake up and I want to help everybody I can.
Yeah.
So
I've always, been a good person wanting to help, someone, whether it's holding the door for someone behind me. That's just the way I was brought up.
Okay.
But helping people, struggling with addiction, it kind of came after my, past addiction, me going to prison, just me getting the eye opener that I needed.
Right.
That's where that started.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So like growing up in high school, school, you were relatively a good kid. You get in a lot of trouble or what?
Yeah, I definitely got into trouble.
Yeah.
But I was that kid that would do something stupid and feel super sorry for it.
Okay, dude.
Yeah.
I was the same exact way. You know what I mean? Because I honestly, I just didn't like to be told what to do.
That's right. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I know I've done some research about you. I know that you dropped out in the 10th grade.
Yep.
I just would go there and just leave as soon as I could.
Yeah, me too.
You know what I mean? Like I would just cut and figure out a way to get out of there.
Yep.
And not, just because I just I don't know. I just didn't like school.
Did you graduate?
I did graduate by the skin of my teeth. Yeah, I really did. But it was later on that I realized, that maybe through some of the lessons I had learned down the road that maybe I wasn't the greatest kid. I thought everybody was always, after me. If everybody would just leave me alone and let me run my, let me run the show. But that's not how it works in school. So, so you dropped out of school.
Yep.
You start using then, or?
Yeah, I would say, I think I was 17. Maybe 16 when I started. Mm-hmm. So right around that time, I was smoking weed when I was still in school. So
yeah, of course.
I would go to this place called The Farm and just hang with my friends, smoke weed, do stupid stuff, throw rocks at another big rock, something stupid like that.
Yeah.
We'd fight, we'd have little brawls, but nothing serious. But then down the road, it kind of grew bigger and bigger. Yeah. I don't know. I had a interesting childhood. I don't know how to say it. I mean, like I said, I'm a nice person. If I do something stupid, I guess sometimes I was a follower and not a leader.
Was there something that, and I really couldn't identify this until later on, but was there something that you really couldn't put your finger on that used to kind of make you feel and used to self-medicate and you didn't as a younger kid?
So in my addiction, I mean, I just loved to party.
Yeah.
So I didn't really self-medicate. I just loved to party.
Okay.
Love hanging out with people, going to clubs, and just love partying. So it definitely started off as that.
Yeah.
Then it was self-medicating. I would get sick because of the opioids and so I would need it. Then I sold drugs to basically support my habit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then it was and then obviously that kind of goes hand in hand, the money and the drugs.
Yeah.
Truthfully, I never sold drugs just because I would just do them all.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I would get a bunch and then I would just end up doing them and then I'd have to pay for them. So, I learned my lesson the hard way, but, eventually I know that, you had to go sit downstate for some time for
almost 2 years.
Almost 2 years.
Yeah.
That's where the change happened.
Yeah. That's where the big change happened. That's where I said to myself, what am I doing here? I don't belong here. In the beginning, it was scary. I'm like, damn, I'm really gonna be stuck here for 2 to 3 years. That was my sentence. And then I just kind of settled in. I had my routine. I worked out, and I had a job in there eventually. And once I had my routine, then it was just smooth sailing. I knew roughly when I was going to get out. I knew I was going to see parole. I was good in there. I mean,
You didn't get high in there?
I did. I got high once. I got into, a few altercations, just verbally, nothing, no actual physical fight. And I try to do the right thing in there. After the one time getting high in there, that really, really made me open my eyes because I almost got caught.
Okay.
They drug tested me and the kid that I got high with. He was getting high longer. I just did it once. And they
Were you smoking like Delta or something?
No, it was what do you call it? Oh my god, I'm having a brain cramp. Suboxone.
Oh yeah,
it was a Suboxone strip that we melted and snorted.
Right. Yeah.
So
yeah,
and he was doing it longer than me. So they brought us both for a piss test. He went in first, and he came out dirty. And I'm like, oh my god, no way, I'm gonna come out dirty, and I came out clean.
That's crazy.
So right then and there,
it's so wild because don't they? I mean, now in prison you can get Suboxone.
Yeah, you can get. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Like now, like
yeah,
that's part of like
you can get prescribed.
You get prescribed.
It's MAT.
Yeah,
yeah,
it's crazy.
Yeah, it is.
So that was the moment. So you remember that day.
Yeah.
So what was it like? Okay, so after, take us through that. Like, so you get back to your cell. You're like, holy shit! Like I can't believe I'm clean. You're like,
yeah,
that's it.
That's it. No more. I'm never. I think I had more too, and I threw it out. I forget. But right then and there, I'm like, shit. If I got caught, I was gonna lose my parole.
Yep.
And I would have been there for a whole nother year and 2 months. So luckily, it didn't happen. Ever since then, my head was on my shoulders. I seen parole. They gave me parole with the ankle bracelet, and I was so happy.
Wow.
Yeah.
So all right. So then you get released. You have this idea. You're never doing it again. You get on the other side of the prison wall. You're like super excited. There's like some fear. You got a new way of life that you're living, or what's going on?
I don't know if I'd say fear or anxiety.
Yes.
But when I got out, everything was different. Like I was just super tense and definitely anxiety. And like my family had a little get together, a party. And when I walk in, everyone's there and I'm like nervous. I'm like shaking.
Yeah.
Because I just didn't know how to be around people anymore. Like I was always around the same people in prison.
Yeah.
So being in the real world, it was different.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So like but you weren't using.
No.
Okay.
No.
So then when you get home, are you just like, all right, I'm going to start VCO, or did you, and that's what happened?
Yeah. So I started a company before I went in.
Okay.
Because I was out on bail. I was out on bail for 3 years and I was doing good. But then, I don't know, halfway into being out on bail, I started a company, just a very small company. And then I started using again, very slowly.
Yeah.
And then, so yeah, I guess I'm backing up a little bit. Sorry.
That's all right. No.
So yeah, I started using again. I had my business, and a couple of things happened like that I'll never forget. I was doing perks at the time, and I was on a customer's house, and I was crushing up a perk in my fucking truck.
Yeah.
And the guy comes up to my window, and he wants to ask me a question about what we're doing. And like I had to scuffle it and hide it, and I don't think he's seen it.
Yeah.
But like then and there, I'm like, holy shit, what am I doing? Like that's when I noticed it was starting to get bad again.
Yeah.
So then it did get bad. I got caught. I picked up some coke, and I was in a parking lot, Walgreens parking lot, and a undercover detective, was watching the parking lot. He wasn't even watching the parking lot for me. He just happened to be watching it for someone else, and he seen me do the play in the parking lot. And then I leave, and we go to the other end of the parking lot and stop so I can break out some lines. And he walks right up to the window, puts his badge on the window. He pulls it out of his, that little keychain thing they wear. And right then and there, they put me in the paddy wagon.
Son of a bitch.
Yeah. And then from there, that's when they just said, put him in jail. And that's when they sentenced me 2 to 3 years. And then I got parole. Okay. Yeah. So now we can go back to when I got out if you want.
Yeah. No, that's fine, dude. That's, a lot of the time, these interviews, they go out to sea, and then we bring them back to shore somehow,
Yeah. I mean, my story is big, just like anyone's story.
Yeah.
I'm 35 years old. I've been here 35 years in this earth.
I know. And it's like, and again, like, before we officially started, we're talking about like the miracle that we're still here.
That's right. Yeah.
Because listen, I know that you've been around some people that maybe were doing, less than what we were doing on a daily basis and OD'd and died.
Mm-hmm.
Or, we're in a situation where they had some shit on them and they went down for longer than you did.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I unfortunately had a cousin that, that was using, got a DUI and unfortunately took somebody's life when he was driving and, he had to go downstate for quite some time, and like, there's just small lines.
Yeah, that's right.
In life,
Mm-hmm.
that for whatever reason, we have no idea why things play out the way that they do, but they do.
That's right.
And thank God for that.
Yeah.
So all right, so you get home, you start your small company,
Yep.
or it was already rolling before.
So no, it was rolling, but then when I went to prison, I had to let it go.
Mm-hmm.
So I let it all go completely.
Yeah.
So I got out and I restarted it back up. Obviously, I when I did it the first time, I kind of went through the ropes or whatever. So when I started it again, it was a little easier. And then that was my main thing, is just get that company, build it as big as I can build it fast, so it'll keep my head on the right track, And sure enough, that's what I did. Here I am now. I mean, we do well. I've been in business. This is my 11th year now.
Beautiful.
My company does over $1 million a year in revenue.
Beautiful.
I mean, I have a lot of guys, a lot of overhead, and materials expensive, so I'm not a millionaire, but we do well. I keep my guys busy, and I'm grateful for where I'm at in life.
Absolutely. So then what did you find first? The love for being a good boss, or did it kind of blow up online after something you filmed was like a good deed? Like,
so I've always been a good boss. Like, even when I had,
did you have shitty bosses? Is that why?
Yeah, definitely.
We all have
yeah, definitely. I think everyone has.
Yeah.
So I'm always just that nice guy. And when I had my first employee, I mean, I was good to him. There were some times where, like, I would oversleep. He would be at my house and be waiting for me to come out. And even if I overslept for an hour, I would still pay him.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, it's the right thing to do.
Right.
But other bosses, they'd be like, oh, they'd make up an excuse or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, and if someone is working hard, like, let's say I'm doing a job and I charge $1,000 for the job, and the materials is $200, and we do it in 2 hours. If I'm paying him, $50 for the 2 hours, and I profit good money, I'm going to give him an extra $50 or $100, whatever. So that's always been in my blood. If you treat your employees good, they're going to treat you well most of the time.
Yeah.
I've had a few guys that took advantage of me, and simply just, you got to weed them out. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah. And how do they take advantage of this?
Try and still work for me.
Yeah.
Take my kindness for weakness.
Yes. I think that's often what happens, like, all of a sudden, we're not running around flipping out all the time. People just think you're a pushover or a coward or whatever it is. And it's just like, and it's weird though, in those moments, like, where the kind of, like, for me, where I used to kind of like flip out and lose my shit.
Yeah.
Where now I just like kind of like let it go.
Yeah.
Because my buddy always says, "Do you want to be peaceful or do you want to be right?" And I just rather be peaceful.
Yeah. I'm with you there.
Because I make more work for myself.
Yeah.
I start running around and I start, screaming and yelling and calling people names out of the out of a moment. I'm
Of just
forever.
rage.
Yeah, man, I'm forever now going back and being like, wow, one, that doesn't feel good anymore, right? So now I have to do something about the way that I feel. Two, I have to, approach that person and make an honest amends.
That's right.
And then three, now I have to try to live differently and look at why I did that, right? So now I have more work for myself.
That's right, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But some of those situations are necessary, though, right? I mean, like, without any of those situations, there would be no growth.
That's
you
right.
know.
Mhm.
But yeah, dude, I definitely I understand that. So that's a beautiful thing. So now, so now are you guys solely like just landscaping? Or you guys do hardscape too, or what?
Yeah, we do hardscaping, patios, retaining walls.
Nice.
I mean, I'll do basement waterproofing. I mean, I have friends in every field, so I'll try and tackle as much as I can, just
Yeah.
sub it out.
Right.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So then your landscaping, like why your landscaping, you have a successful business, you know, you're start growing on TikTok.
Yeah.
Talk to me about the first video that happened. Was it TikTok first before Instagram?
Yeah, definitely
And,
TikTok first.
Were you just using that as a tool as a marketing tool, as many businesses do, to kind of get more leads, or was
No.
this how did it all come to
I
be?
had no idea what social media, TikTok, any of this would do.
Mhm.
Someone brought it to my attention about the app, so I downloaded it, and I just simply like went with the trend, and I played like a girly song, just videotaping my guys wrapping up a patio,
Yeah.
and then from there, I just I kept making videos of my guys, like
Mhm.
being good to them. I gave one of my guys a raise. I made a video. It started out, I forget exactly how it started out, but people were commenting saying, I bet you won't do this. I bet you won't do that. I bet you won't get you guys coffee. So I picked those comments and I made a video with it.
Oh, okay.
And I'm like, I bet you won't give you a guy a raise, because that was one of the comments. And I walked right up to one of my guys and I said, hey, Julio, I'm going to give you a raise starting next week. So, and then I just kept doing more of those videos, buying them coffee.
Dude. It's like they just set you up for,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Just to win, dude. That's crazy.
Yeah. It was cool. The guys loved it.
Yeah.
And I just kept doing good things for them. Whatever the comment said, that's what I would do.
Wow.
Yeah. That's where it all started.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then it just started to feel good.
Yeah. It was cool. I was entertaining people. I was taking care of my guys, so it was great.
A lot of body deodorants have a reputation of not working. This stuff is infused by coffee oil. Coffee oil has been deodorizing nasty situations in ERs, in the back of squad cars, every other smelly situation. Coffee has been involved to alleviate that smell, and these guys have now put it in deodorant.
That's pretty smart.
And it's not only for just men, it's for men and women. We'd like to thank them because they're the ones that are donating this weekend. Without them, a lot of what I do wouldn't be possible. So,
well, thank you, CAFX. Thank you.
Yeah. Give this stuff a try, man. I think
we should pass them out tomorrow.
Yeah, we will.
Definitely.
We absolutely will. Yeah, and then you start to feel like a sense of like of service.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Which 1000% resonates with me. Service has been the one thing that has changed my life completely.
Mm-hmm.
When I stop thinking about myself, I can start being more useful to the world and everyone else. Yeah,
there's so much that we can do to make people happy and be of service.
Yeah. So you're blowing up on TikTok. What your company is starting to blow up because of that. So where does it all? I'm just trying to figure out. So you have this big social media platform now. Yep. You have a successful business. Where do you take everything from there?
Like you're saying from here now, like where am I gonna go?
So I mean, you just keep doing what you're doing. Do you have other ideas of continuing to grow, or is it just
Yeah. So my business, I mean, obviously I want to grow it, but I have my set guys where I love the way they do things, and if I add more people, I want to make sure that they're trained the right way. Mm-hmm. So I don't want to grow my business too big and then start to lose customers and get bad reviews. Mm-hmm. So I kind of want to keep my business where it's at.
Yeah.
But I want to take helping people to the next level. Mm-hmm. Like I want to be able to help thousands and like hundreds of thousands of people. So my next thing that I'm working on an app that I really can't say,
sure,
what it's about, but just picture me, everything that I do, like on a daily basis, multiplying myself so that there's more people like me doing it out there. So that's hopefully going to come within the next year. I'm, pushing hard. It's not easy trying to make an app. So I've been doing what I do now for at least 3 years, helping people. So I've worked out the kinks. Like I know what's needed for these people and what's not needed. So that's kind of what I'm basing the app about. And hopefully I get some investors that want to be, a part of it. And hopefully it blows up.
Yeah, I'm sure. I mean, it sounds interesting. Definitely, like as you're talking about this, I have one person in mind who's, in the space of service and recovery that I'd like to maybe connect you with. He's down in Florida.
Yeah.
But anyway, so the altruism of it, right? Of you just helping people to help people, and then like describe a little bit about like what that does for your spirit and like how does that
It honestly makes me feel great.
Yeah.
Knowing that I'm giving someone life back or, participating in it, not giving it to them fully, they're putting in the work. So,
right.
But it feels great knowing that I was a part of saving a life, helping someone get over a hurdle that they have been going through, helping someone financially. I mean, I'm not made of money, but I help when I can.
Right.
I have a nonprofit. When there's money in there, I help feed people and pay sober living costs just to ease, put things at ease for these people that are struggling.
Right.
So,
yeah. And so all this is, happened for you over time. Do you believe in God?
I do, yeah.
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 And do you believe that like do you ever like when you're helping people, how much of your own experience do you share with them, or do you just kind of point them in the direction and be like, listen, these are some of the things that I did, what's it like when you're helping somebody from like give us like an example of you approaching somebody, maybe a homeless person, or just like another person like Bobby who reached out for recovery.
So, I mean, let's just say I approach a homeless person. First of all, I treat them like they're like me, like they're human. I don't look at them like they're a piece of shit or anything like that.
Right.
And I just simply ask them how their day is, what's going on, how can I help them? And from there, I just kind of take what they tell me and I figure out the best way to respond. And if they want to get help, I straight up tell them, I'll do everything I can to help you. I'll drop everything I'm doing. I'll raise money for you. I'll reach out to all my resources. But if you really want the help, you have to put the work in. So, I mean, that's one thing I do.
Now, do you like stress like just getting into treatment and then like a 12-step recovery program? Or
so I'm not big on the 12-step.
Okay.
I've never done it myself.
Okay.
I went to prison to get clean.
Yeah.
I did do some meetings, but I never did the 12-step. It's not for everyone. But what I do is I get them connected with the facility and I let them take it from there. And I'm just kind of like their sponsor, but not their full sponsor.
Yeah.
I'm like their background sponsor.
Right.
And the facility does a great job. I've been working with MLB Recovery.
Yeah.
And they're absolutely amazing. The few people that I just brought to them, like they're thriving, they're loving it there. So they do a good job at handling people and helping them and guiding them to, the right path.
Okay. And we're going to be doing some work with MLB tomorrow in Kensington. Yeah. Tell us a little bit about your relationship with MLB. What are they are they a nonprofit?
I think they have some sort of nonprofit or it's in the works. But they're just a recovery center. They have a few centers.
Yeah.
They're not a nonprofit. I mean,
so are they a rehab?
Yeah.
Okay.
They're a rehab.
All right.
They have a few centers. Trying to think. I mean, I know the one of the owners. Actually, no, I know both the owners, the staff, and we. All right, so actually, yeah, I'll tell you about them.
Yeah.
The way that I got introduced to them,
Yeah.
Steven, who's one of the owners, he used to always, well, he still does. He watches all my videos, and one day he told me that his wife said, yeah, I got to back up. I hate when I go too forward, so I'm going to restart.
It's cool.
All right, so Steven reached out to me and told me that his wife showed him my videos, and he absolutely loved it because that's what he does, but off camera. So the reason why I'm saying this is because there are people that do what I do off camera. I'm just that person that, got lucky with the camera and it worked.
How's that? Do the people do they hate the camera when you approach them with the camera?
So I hate approaching them. Most of the time I do tell them. I don't stick it in their face.
Yeah.
Most of the time it's in my truck.
Yeah, I've seen you say like, "Hey, is it okay that we film?"
Yeah.
Like, okay.
Most of the time I do.
Right.
There's some times where it doesn't come out for some reasons. But I basically tell them if it doesn't come out right away, I tell them at the end, and I just say, "Hey, I hope you're okay with me recording." And if they're not okay, I don't post it.
Right.
I have respect, so
for sure.
Yeah.
But MLB.
Yeah. So back to MLB. So Steven watched my videos after his wife showed him, and I don't even know how we got connected, but somehow we got connected, I think through Instagram. And he told me the story about how he does what I do. He hands out his own business cards to people to try and get them clean. And that's what I do on camera.
Yeah.
So we met up.
When they're ready, they have your...
Correct.
Right.
Planting the seed. Whenever they're ready, they'll call.
Yeah.
And it was cool to know that. So when he called me, we spoke, told me the story, and I'm like, dude, that's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
So then we actually linked up. He offered me a scholarship. We've been working together ever since, and it's been a great partnership.
Yeah. That's great, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the fact that him and his staff, they all have a passion for this. There's some people, yes, that have a passion and they're in it for the money. Some that are just in it for the money, some that are in it for the passion.
There is a blurred line in the recovery world of people, and we saw it so much in the beginning of in the opioid epidemic when there was I think there's a documentary called Body Count where people, and the story, people were just brokering people.
That's right.
Getting in and out, people all
just for the money.
Just for the money because it's an insurance game. And, that's kind of like my, I personally went to treatment because I needed to be plucked out of, I needed to be physically detoxed because I had been to the hospital so many times, but I needed to, be physically detoxed away from my situation. And I needed to be, surrounded by professionals to help me, And so, I needed treatment. But for some people that don't really in my opinion, don't need physical treatment. I'd say either just jump into something that works for you and get clean and run after it like your life is on the line because it is.
Yeah.
But treatment facilities can be a little of a sketchy area.
Yeah.
For sure.
No, definitely.
But thank God for where I went, and I went to a place that wasn't so nice. Yeah. I went to a place that was state run.
Yeah.
But I think if I went to a place that was like a hotel, you know what I mean, like a resort, I would have got comfortable. I don't know if it would have worked.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I wouldn't hear anything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's right.
And
everyone's different. Yeah,
I know.
Yeah.
I know. And that's really what I've come to learn over time is that everything is different for every single person.
Yeah.
I am a part of a 12-step program, but I do that because that's what worked for me.
Yeah.
I couldn't do it. I tried every other thing and nothing worked until I did that. You know what I mean? So I got tired of trying to find another way. Yeah. You know what I mean? I was able to catch my breath somewhere. And I was able to it worked. Finally.
If it works, take it and run with it and keep doing it.
Yeah.
And just don't go off path.
Yeah. Cause it's it's hard, man.
Yeah. It's very hard.
When you get stuck in that life and you're like, man,
Yeah.
How am I ever gonna,
That's
do
right.
this and do that, without doing this? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then trying to balance a normal life with
Yeah. It's
like
not easy.
it's and eventually, the house of cards folds, dude.
That's right.
And
Yep.
then you're just living for whatever you're putting in your body.
That's right.
You
I think I shouldn't say I think, I know the reason, why I stopped and I really smartened up was not only prison, was having a family. Having
Okay.
2 kids, my fiance, that's what really smartened me up.
Mm-hmm.
So without them, I'd probably be doing something stupid today.
Yeah. Okay. So you had already met your.
My fiance, when I came out of prison,
Okay.
which was, not long after,
Mhm.
we started dating. Then eventually we had 1 kid and then another kid.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm so grateful.
Yeah.
I do everything
You're
every
being
day.
a dad is way better than anything you've
Yeah.
ever done.
Oh my God, I love it.
It's amazing.
I would never change it for the world.
It's great.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man. Those are the things that we were talking about before. Like without us, like the situations that have happened for you, in your life, you would have never gotten there,
That's
right?
right.
So I'm a firm believer that even the path that I've traveled, whether there was a checkered road there or two,
Yeah.
you know what I mean, still puts me here.
That's right.
You know what I mean? And that's beautiful.
Yeah.
That's
There's
worth
bumps.
it. It's
Yeah.
worth it, man.
Yeah, it definitely
You
is.
know?
Yeah.
Despite, all the days, where, again, I'm in the hospital. I'm
Yeah.
like, nobody's talking to me. I'm living on my mother's couch.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? It's worth it.
Yeah.
1,000%.
Everything happens for a reason. Yeah.
You truly believe that?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Definitely.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I'm sure we could exchange stories, similar crazy stories, but
Yeah.
it all leads back to the same thing, is that I'm just grateful to be here.
Yeah.
You know
Be
what I mean?
alive and
Yeah.
see a beautiful day. But
Yeah.
some days are shitty, some are beautiful. But no matter what, every day is beautiful
Yeah.
because you're alive, you're healthy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that just like stuck with you, and you just had this like feeling of like, you're like, all right, well now, like, because people outside of the recovery world, this is what I've come to, obviously we all know that there's a world of fear and pain and suffering outside of drugs and alcohol that
Yeah.
people experience. And that's, why I like to talk to people who are not necessarily in our world,
Mhm.
but are still have achieved something or overcome something, or now in pursuit of being the best version of themselves.
Yep.
And that's where your random acts of kindness kind of comes in. You've recognized that, where, even just I know you're a hit at the local Dunkin' Donuts and other places that you go to, where you tell us a little bit about the random acts of kindness.
Yeah. I don't even know how that came in. But eventually it came in, and I mean, I guess I would love if someone just did something random for me that made me think like, wow, like what was that for? Just make them think. So, I'd give someone $20 randomly, $500, depends on, if someone's sponsoring me or, I make extra money or whatever. I just like to make people smile. So I also do the random acts of kindness and, tipping waitresses or buying someone's order behind me.
Mm-hmm.
It feels good. It's an excitement. It's my new high,
Yeah. Yeah. I 1000% get that. But do you ever have any, have you ever noticed that maybe ego creeps in?
Like my ego?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Because I could see that from me, right?
Yeah.
I could see how that might start to be like,
Make my head big,
yeah,
basically?
yes.
So I don't let that get to me at all.
Mhm.
People will approach me and be like, oh my God, you're famous. And I simply tell them, I'm not famous. I'm just me.
Mm-hmm.
I make videos and I make people smile. Like
Yeah.
I'm nowhere close to famous.
Right.
And I do not let that get to me at all. The people that know me know that I do not.
Yeah. Cause you're not like that at all. Like
No.
when I first, like when we spoke on the phone, I was like, thank God, dude.
Yeah.
You know, because sometimes people are different off of camera.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. A lot of people will say that I'm a normal guy. That's it.
You really are.
I don't think I'm bigger and better than anyone else in this world. And I hate people that think that.
And we're all just
we're all human.
One situation away from humility again.
That's right. We're all fucked up in our own way.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So,
you know, one of the most beautiful things that happened to me was, so I had gotten out of treatment a few months before that, and I was working for this local guy cleaning windows.
Yeah.
And part of what he did was there was a gimmick called Men in Kilts, and I had to wear a kilt cleaning windows. Yeah. And and so I had a best friend growing up, and he had passed away in my early 20s. And I hadn't seen anybody from his family in a while because I was out there doing my thing.
Yeah.
And it just so happened that his sister owned this store where we were cleaning windows, and she came out, and I knew it was her store too.
Yeah.
And she came out, and I was like so ashamed. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Because small area.
Yeah.
I'm sure she had heard, you know, what I was up to and all of that. And I just was like, started to talk to her, and I got so choked up, and she just like looked at me and she goes, "It's okay. Everybody has their shit."
Yeah. Everyone does.
And I know that was like something so simple, but it just like made me feel so good right then, because like I was just so full of shame still.
Yeah.
You know? And I think that's a lot of what people can't get over early on in recovery, and why they continue to live the way that they do, because they think that they'll never be able to overcome any of that.
Yeah, that's the hardest thing, is to think and just push through, you know, knowing that you can do something with your life. But that's why, like, the way that I handle, you know, I don't want to say my how do I want to say this? Like, all right, my program. The way that I handle my program is it's different. You know, I give the people the assistance that they need, where when I raise money for them, if I raise $10,000, I give them money when they need it. They'll ask me for it.
Sure.
I'll monitor their money. I'll give it to them. I ask them for receipts. I hold them accountable. So, I mean, that's a big weight lifted off their shoulders. When you're in early recovery, you have no money. You know, some people, yes, their mother and father can help them, uncles, aunts, whatever. But a lot of people have no money.
Yeah.
And that's why they relapse, because they're in treatment and they're stressed out because they got a $20 food card for the month. It's like, how are you going to eat and live off of that?
Yeah.
You can't.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
you can't even get a meal for $20.
No, you can't. Nowadays, it's way too hard to live. So that's one thing I try and do for everyone that I help through my program. It's hard to raise money.
Yeah.
But that's why I really want this app to go and become something, so that there can be a lot more money brought in.
Yeah. How do you deal with when you're working with somebody and they disappear or they relapse? Do you have a practice in which that the guy who helps people needs help? Like, what do you do?
So if I help someone and they relapse, they, you know, go back to their old ways, I do not chase them. I do not force them. I simply, you know, I'll reach out and say, "Hey, what's going on?" And if they're off and running, they're off and running.
They ain't gonna answer anyway.
Yeah. I'm not gonna chase them. But this has happened. So I'm glad you brought this up. This has happened multiple times. For example, Ryan relapsed 3, maybe 4 times. And as soon as he was ready to come back, I helped him out, like with no hesitation. Helped him out, started another GoFundMe. You know, I'm thankful for people to donate because it made things easier. Thankful for MLB Recovery because they gave him a scholarship. And I mean, it hurts me when people relapse. It really does. Like, I tell people all the time,
I know.
And people are like, "Oh, you got to let it go. Just let them go."
It's hard, man, though.
It's really hard.
When you build an emotional connection, especially when you've found so much freedom from, you know, on the other side of this, and you just want people to have it, but they
don't want it.
Yeah.
I want them to have it so bad. but it's so hard because
It's very hard.
yeah, it's not easy. You have to really want it, but when you really want it,
But don't you think that the want always just comes from like when
guilt.
you have enough pain, right? Like
Yeah,
I had suffered so much pain where I was like, I'm done.
yeah.
I can't do this.
I agree
anymore.
with that. You're fed up. You had enough.
Yeah.
But I see the problem is when that happens, and then they go to detox, and then they get it out of their system,
Mhm.
and then right after detox, they're like, "Oh, I feel good.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go back to it. I'll be fine."
Yeah.
And that's what sucks. That hurts me.
I know.
The first 30, 60 days, that's a hard time right there.
I know.
You're in worse than prison. That's a really hard time. So they need all the support they can get during that time. And they have to continue to want it.
Yeah. It's so hard. It's so hard to watch. In fact, like I would look back in our conversation and you were posting stuff about Ryan and or other guys, and I would comment and stuff, but there was this one time that I sent you a message and I was just like encouraging like what you're doing, because I think what you're doing is amazing.
Thank you.
But my buddy,
Mhm.
who just is like one of my best friends, recently in the last 2 years ago, he died, and he just couldn't do it.
I know.
You know what I mean? There was just like there would be good times. You know what I mean? There would be a stretch of months. You know what I mean? But there was just something about it where he just like couldn't fully commit to this like new way of life, dude. And
Yeah.
I don't know what would have happened, but he checked himself into the treatment one more time, and he snuck some shit in there.
Yeah.
And he fell out during treatment, and he OD'd and died in the treatment center.
Oh, so sad.
It's horrible.
It really is.
And dude, I mean, this dude was the best, dude.
Yeah.
Like, and it's just so, and there's so many stories like that. And, it's heartbreaking when that happens,
Yeah,
and,
it's awful.
and, but it's amazing though that like I know that happens to you, right? I mean that's a big part of what you're doing, and I surround myself in that world too, and it's amazing how you just continue to not get discouraged and you keep helping, because that's what you have to do, right?
Yeah, because there's more people that need help. So
1000%.
you can't let that set you back. You just got to keep going and keep helping the next person, because if you try and help 100 people, you may have success with 10 people.
Yeah.
Right away, and then a few months down the road, another 10 people, just going to keep climbing.
Yeah.
Just never stop. Just
Never
keep
stop.
going.
Yeah. It's weird because at some points, like it as people pass, and you've been around it and I've been around it. It's like, it's not that I'm like callous or desensitized from the whole thing. It's just that I just know that like they're at peace now. You know
That's
what
right.
I mean?
Yeah.
That
They're
fight is just unreal.
Correct. It's crazy. The fight is absolutely
It's
insane.
absolutely it just there's just so much physical, emotional pain that comes with it, that like, when somebody goes, like it's just like
they're better off, but it's sad to say that.
It's sad to say that, man.
Yeah.
But they're better off. Yeah.
Yeah.
What's the vision? Where do you see it? Where do you see it 15 years from now?
15 years from now, I see the Good Project helping over thousands and thousands of people, giving thousands of jobs out there, just connecting with so many other foundations, because there's so many other good foundations out there.
Yeah.
So I just want to be that nonprofit that truly cares and helps everyone that comes through. And even if they fall, when they're ready to come back, they come back.
Yeah.
I want to be able to give scholarships to people. I'm not a facility, but I want to be able to raise enough money to give scholarships, work one-on-one with these people, hire people like myself to give them that one-on-one, and give them treatment for free. Like, there's so many homeless people that don't have insurance.
Yeah.
Yes, you can get insurance pretty quick, whatever, but what about that person that's ready right now?
Yeah.
that has nothing.
I know.
Like, let's go. Hop in my truck.
And they say yes right now. And you're like, all right, we got to get this guy through the door.
That's
or
right.
He's turning around. He's gone.
That's right.
So
I want to be able to do that stuff.
Yeah.
I want to just take action without going to this person, that person, say, hey, can we get this? Can we try and do this, please? I want to just do it.
Mm-hmm.
So
beautiful. So to anybody out there, as we're kind of, can you believe that? It's almost an hour.
I know.
We're just about,
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Wow.
But
that's crazy.
What do you have to say to anybody that's struggling right now?
What I have to say is the struggle is always going to be there,
Mm-hmm.
but things can be easier. Find that person that you like to talk to, and someone that's doing well for themselves, and just stick by them. I mean, if you want to get into treatment, I know it's hard. It's not easy. Your thoughts are you want to get clean, but your demons inside of you saying, let's go get high real quick. Everyone wants to get that last high before they go to treatment. Forget about that. Just get up and go.
Mm-hmm.
Get in treatment and work the program as hard as you can, because it's going to work.
Yeah.
It may not work the first time, but it's going to work. If you try it 5, 10, 20 times, it's going to work one time. And find that right support. Don't go back to the wrong crowd. Don't go back to that area. Find someone that cares about you. Tell them, open up. Say, hey, I want to do this. Let's do it right now. That's what I got to say.
Absolutely. What was some of the best, and in closing, what's some of the best advice that you've received?
That I've received?
Can you remember it?
Not really.
There's nothing that's ever stuck out to you? Anything, any of the old heads say anything while you're in prison?
Never let your left hand know what your right hand's doing. That's what my grandfather says.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what do you think he means by
that? Honestly, that's a tough one. Sometimes if you talk about something that's good and you tell your left hand or whatever, your other hand, it's not going to happen, or something's going to deter it. So if you got something and it's going good, just keep going. You don't have to let everyone know.
Yeah. I agree with that.
Yeah.
Keeping it, keeping it yours.
Yeah.
Because
someone's going to try and steal whatever you're doing, whether it's a thought invention or something that you're about to do. You're going to go help someone. Someone's going to shut it down.
Yeah.
I
know.
They always will. There's always those Debbie Downers out there.
Oh, bro. I know. It's crazy how people love to shit on positive things.
That's right.
Because they're always, but I have to be with you. I have to be honest with you. I used to be a bit of a cynic, man, because I never believed, right, that it could be good for me.
That's right.
Like when I saw somebody doing something really good, I was like, oh, must be a rich kid, or somebody gave him that or something. You know what I mean? Like I was always on the side of like, no way.
Yep.
They deserve that, or good for them, or anything like that.
That's right.
And it's only because I've had an experience, and I just think that people need to believe, man. That's why people like you and I are out here trying, because I want people to believe that despite what the news says, and that it seemingly to be a disaster in the world, that like there is still a lot of beautiful things.
That's right.
Like wherever you are, man, there's still some beautiful things.
There's a lot, and it's not shown as much.
Yeah,
for sure.
Well, listen, we've reached the end of the hour, and I gotta really thank you for coming down. I'm looking forward to tomorrow.
Yeah, likewise.
It's gonna be good to meet your people, and try and help some people, right? Because that's why we're doing this in the first place.
Yeah, and you can pull, Ryan, Bree, you can pull them aside, ask them about me, and have them be truthful.
Yeah,
they're gonna give you exactly what I give to them.
Yeah.
So, just like anyone else.
Yeah, I will. We're definitely gonna have some fun with everybody tomorrow.
Yeah,
It's
it'll
gonna
be
be
great.
beautiful.
Yeah, it
It's
really
gonna be
is.
80
Yeah, it's gonna be
degrees.
hot. Yeah,
It's gonna be 80 degrees out there.
it's perfect.
So it'll be great. Well, thanks
Awesome.
again, man.
Thank you.